fellow booktubers, my name is Laura and you're watching Dreams, Books, Courage, and today I'm doing my top 15 of 2015 video in which I will show you 15 of my favorite books that I read within the year of 2015. Although not all of these nor most of these were published within the year of 2015, that is the year in which I read them. I managed to read a total of 72 books in the year of 2015, which is quite good, although it's lower than the amount of books that I read in 2014, but that's okay. I graduated from high school and I started college, and so a lot of different life events have been happening within the past year. If you want another rating that I gave every single book within the year of 2015 and also all of the books that I read within the year, I will be doing a video on that, so it may already be posted or it will be posted very soon. So definitely watch out for that one, and if it's already posted then I'll leave a link down below. So let's go ahead and get into my favorite books of 2015. So in the number 15 spot we have Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This book is quite obviously about Nimona, who is an apprentice to a supervillain named Lord Blackheart, and they just go on an epic adventure throughout this book that I really enjoyed. I love the art style of this book, but what I loved even more is how it played upon traditional tropes. Like, yes, there is a good guy and a bad guy within this book, but there's a lot of gray area within that, and I found that to be very interesting but also very heartbreaking. If you have not yet picked up a graphic novel, this would be a great place to start. I love this book so much. In the number 14 spot is actually a book that I read on audiobook, and that is Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. This is Mindy Kaling's second memoir, and I've read both of them and love them so much. They are read by the author on audiobook, and just the stories that Mindy Kaling has to tell are just very inspirational and hilarious. And I just find Mindy Kaling to be just a very relatable person. Again, this is an audiobook that I would recommend for everyone. You just have to hear Mindy Kaling say it because that just makes it 10 times funnier. She has a wonderful way of narrating and also just telling stories in general that I love, and it's just the perfect combination of both hilarious and inspirational. In the number 13 spot is a book that people either loved or hated within 2015, and that book is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, where people with silver blood are the ruling class and people with red blood are more the workers and also kind of slaves. This book follows a girl named Mare, and the people with silver blood also have special powers, but then Mare realizes that she also has a special power, and that's kind of where the story begins. I was considering not having this on my top 15 of 2015 just because I feel like this book played off of a lot of other dystopians, but I felt like the ending of this book was very unique, and I find myself keep going back to this book and thinking about this book and thinking about where it's going to go within the next book. So I feel like the ending combined with the fact that I think about it so often means that this book really stuck out to me and deserves a place on my top books of 2015. If you love dystopians as much as I do, I would definitely recommend it. And I'm just really looking forward to where the series go, considering this is the first book. The next couple of books I do not have with me because they are still at college, but in the number 12 spot we have Flatland by Edwin A. Abbott. And this is an older dystopian novel that I really enjoyed, and I found that it got me thinking about a lot of different things and a lot of different facets of life. This book takes place on different levels of dimension, so you have the first dimension, the second dimension, third dimension, and fourth dimension. The fourth dimension being a spiritual one, and so it's just very interesting how they play off of each other. And all of this book takes place with different shapes like triangles and circles. It seems really weird, but if you really translate it to your own life, I found it to be very relatable and also very insightful. This book is quite a short classic and it did not take me a lot of time to read. It's very thought-provoking and just all I wanted within a dystopian. So again, if you like dystopians, this is definitely a great place to start, especially since it's one of the originals. The novel in the number 11 spot is actually one that I had to read for a class, and that is Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. I did not realize how much I would be intrigued by this book, and I just really enjoyed it. I really love Vonnegut's writing style, just his characters, and just basically everything about this book. A lot of people, I think, find this book to be very confusing because it is not told within a linear timeline. It jumps back and forth, and it goes to different dimensions, and it's just kind of crazy, but it's just such an interesting read, and I feel like it's a very easy to read classic. I really enjoyed this book, and I did not realize how much I would be getting into this book, but it was just very thought-provoking, and I just really enjoyed the story that it had to tell. It also hit on some very important issues like PTSD, and so that was another facet that I found really interesting and a very important one to talk about. The next book is also a dystopian, and I'm just now realizing I have a lot of dystopians on this list. But in the number 10 spot, we have Knots and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, and this is based on the segregation of the 1950s within the United States, except for the race roles are switched, and it's more in the future, like about our time. And so again, it was just a very thought-provoking read that really got me to look at my life and look at how we view different races in a completely different way. I feel like this read is very important, one that everyone should read at some point in their lives. It had such a good plot in general, but I also really love the characters, even if I found them kind of annoying at times. I just really love this dystopian world and how it was told, and how in some ways it kind of felt like a public service announcement to how we really need to think about race roles more, and how we need to stop having this kind of hierarchy within races, because although it has gotten better, it has not stopped. And so I feel like this book is just very important and one that everyone needs to read. The next novel you may have heard of, it's called The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. You know, obviously you've heard of it, and you probably know the general plot of it, which is about this guy named Gatsby, and he gets very wealthy in order to win over the girl of his dreams. And that's basically the plot of this novel, although there are so many different things that go into this, so many different themes and metaphors and just so much more. I love the story because, for one, Fitzgerald has such beautiful writing, and also because I'm an English nerd and an English major, which means that I really love the symbolism within this novel. I feel like this is a very powerful story and definitely hits on a lot of important themes, so I really love that about this novel. And although I read it for class, I just really enjoyed reading it, and I'm definitely looking forward to a reread in the future because I feel like this is just one of those novels that you can keep rereading and find something new about it every single time. The next novel is actually told in graphic format, and that is Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. This is a series of short stories, and a lot of them are just hilarious and so funny, but there are some very important parts about depression, and so overall I felt that this book was just so well done, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Ali Brosh publishes within the future. It's such a hilarious read, and I would definitely recommend everyone to go and pick this one up. You can read it in just a few hours, and it is definitely worth your time. In the number 7 spot, we have a partially completed series, and so I'm just going to count this as one. And that is the first 2 books of the Bone Season series, The Bone Season and The Mime Order, both of them by Samantha Shannon. These books are just such an epic fantasy within yet another dystopian world. I love the series so much so far, although only 2 books are published. There's just so much within these novels, and it's not just all about romance or anything, because it is an adult read, and so it does focus on more important things, I feel. But it's just such a complex world in which clairvoyance plays a huge role, but clairvoyance is also outlawed, and the people who are found that have clairvoyance are sent to a special camp, so in some ways it is a very communistic society and also just very messed up in general. I'm loving the series, and I'm really looking forward to where it goes within 2016. In the number 6 spot is a completed duology. That is the To Kill a Mockingbird duology by Harper Lee. The first book, of course, being To Kill a Mockingbird, and the second book being Go Set a Watchman. I read both of these books within the year of 2015, and I finally know all of that I've been missing out on. This book actually came out within 2015, but the first book came out quite a while back and is known as a classic. So many things about these books are great, especially how they deal with racism and just different themes in general. And also Harper Lee's writing style is so beautiful, and I wish that she had written more books, but I do love these 2, and I'm definitely looking forward to some rereads of them in the future. They're just such beautiful books, and they're definitely important books to read. And now we're down to my top 5 books / series of 2015. In the number 5 spot, we have another duology, and that is the To All the Boys I've Loved Before duology by Jenny Han. The first book obviously being To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and the second book being P.S. I Still Love You. Both of these books are just such adorable reads. I loved every single second of reading them. They just made me so happy. The characters are so unique and well developed. Like, even minor characters you really get to know. And I just really love Jenny Han's writing style, and I'm really looking forward to reading more by her. Within the first book, something major happened whenever our main character, Laura Jean, finds out that all the love letters that she wrote to all these boys that she's fallen in love with at some point in her life have been sent away to the actual guys, and so that completely changes her life in a lot of ways. But that is definitely not the main plot line of the novel. But that is what kicks off all of this other action within it. I don't want to tell you too much about it just because I feel like it's better to just go into this series without knowing too much about it. I just love these books so much. They're adorable, and they're definitely one of my favorite contemporary reads that I've ever read. If you're looking for a place to get into young adult contemporary, I would definitely recommend this series. Another amazing contemporary read that I read this year wins the 4th place spot, and that is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I feel like I haven't really talked about this book enough within 2015, but this book is just the most amazing road trip adventure, with obviously Amy and Roger taking this epic detour, and they just take the long way around to get from the West Coast to the East Coast. I loved every single second of this book. It was sad at times, but it was also just adorable at times. And it just really made me want to travel more. And it made me realize that within the United States, there are a lot of places that I have not gone and that I really want to go, especially within more of the Midwest area. But this definitely got me excited about a lot of travel adventures to come. And again, this is yet another great place to start out within the YA contemporary genre. In the 3rd place, we have a trilogy. and that is the Pattern and the End of Days trilogy by Susan E. I do not have the first book with me, which is Angel Fall, but I do have World After and End of Days, and these covers are just so gorgeous, especially this one. This series is all about these evil angels who have come to take over the world, and so this is a very apocalyptic series, and it mainly follows an angel who has lost his wings and then a normal human. Everything about this series I love. It's such an epic adventure, and it's just heart-wrenching and action-packed. This is just such a great series, and I really can't say enough about it. I did really enjoy the writing, and the characters were very unique and fleshed out, but more than anything, I just loved the overall story that was being told. I just thought it was so unique and interesting, and I loved every moment of reading this series. In the second place spot is a series that I read all of within the beginning of 2015, and that is the Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead, which is obviously a 6-book series that I absolutely adore. But now I'm going to put down most of the books because this weighs quite a lot. I read the Vampire Academy series within 2014, and then obviously I read this one within 2015, and they're definitely on par with each other. So if you've read Vampire Academy, definitely go ahead and read this series. It's just as amazing and epic, although in different ways. This one focuses more on alchemy and witchcraft, and even if that doesn't sound too interesting to you, it is actually very epic. There is quite a lot of character development that happens within the series, and I just loved every single minute of reading these books. Again, it is a series filled with adventure and action, also a little bit of romance mixed in. It's just everything I want in a series, and it definitely delivered. So I'm very happy that I finally read all of this series because it is just as amazing as Vampire Academy was. And in the first place spot is the start of a new series, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm sure you guys knew that I was going to pick this book. I love this one so much, just everything about it. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I just love the main character of Feyre. Although she is not yet as amazing as Selena is, I feel like she will hopefully get there within the next book. It definitely means a lot if the first book of a new series is in first place on this list. I just love this one so much, and I feel like the hype is well deserved. Sarah J. Maas's writing style is amazing, and this adventure is epic, and it's both heartbreaking and it makes you conflicted, and just so many emotions all packed into one book. If I had read Queen of Shadows within 2015, I'm sure it would have been on this list as well, but A Court of Thorns and Roses I'm sure was just as epic. It was such an amazing read, and I'm very much so looking forward to where this series is going to go. So those are all of my top books of 2015. If you guys have read any of these, I would love to know your thoughts on them down below. I felt like I had such an amazing reading year, even if I did not read as much as I did within 2014. I feel like within this list you can tell it's kind of diverse. Even if I did read quite a lot of dystopians, they were very different from each other, and then I did read quite a few classics as well. I'm very happy with what I read overall within the year of 2015, and I'm so excited for what the year 2016 is going to bring. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and now I'm gonna go get back to reading.